sitting quietly in the after effects of meditation, we witness the truth of our being as serene, awake and aware, wise, balanced, happy. We witness our mind as calm, clear, bright. Our thoughts ordered. Our heart open. Our emotions settled. Our faith strengthened. All this from sitting still and allowing distracted thoughts to fall away. All this naturally arising from within. We sit in a moment of gratitude for this path, for these teachings, for these teachers, and for the global community of devotees around this world, in our time, in times that came before, and send our blessing forward for devotees who will come after us. And we spread this consciousness through our being, through our showing up in the world, knowing who and what we are, and who and what others are, our human family. Individual expressions of the infinite one life. May we walk in this remembrance today. Take a few moments to bring to mind anyone in your life that could use a blessing, and send that out. Bring to mind people around our world and wish them joy, knowledge of their security, support, peace. Let's close our time of meditation by chanting Om together. And send a healing vibration to all points in the universe. Peace. May our thoughts be aligned with Dharma. May our speech be aligned with Dharma. May our heart and our actions be aligned with Dharma. And so it is. Om. Peace. Amen. This morning I awoke thinking about this path of practice. Kriya Yoga, the path of action, actions that lead us to our self-realization, God-realization. And as I was meditating, I was thinking, wow, to just sit still makes so many things possible, because we open up to our inner guidance, our joy. We begin to recognize our own passions, gifts, and talents. So much is made possible by just communing and connecting with our higher true self. Sometimes I think, well, I'm just sitting still. How can this be possible? It's a true miracle, isn't it? The ways in which we change. To those who are not familiar with the practices of this path, none of us, of course, but to others who are not familiar with the practices of this path, it appears that all we're doing is sitting with our eyes closed. And miracles happen. And we know that there's a lot more going on. We engage in reining in our senses, drawing ourselves within through different techniques. We consciously commune in the one. We are doing things, but ultimately, when we drop the doing in our meditation practice, it's the being that causes the transformation. Who would have thought that all of these changes could happen within me? Things that I thought were just the way it was are transformed. Not just in me, but in the outside world, my view, my perspective. What a gift to have a shift in perspective. We're beginning the season of the sit-a-thon at CSE, and everyone who's ever been touched by the teachings from Umaji and from our lineage is thinking about ways to lift up this season and the commitment that has been made to teach 1,008 people to meditate, at least 1,008 people to meditate. And I was thinking about how fabulous it is to witness people experiencing the benefits of meditation for the first time. Just sitting still for the first time. You know what I mean? I mean, consciously being still and working with the mind to bring stillness to the mental field for the first time. And how it is, I think I enjoy watching the wheels turn, when someone first meditates and then they sit back and go, like, that was an interesting experience. Hard to explain, hard to really wrap your mind around how you weren't really doing anything and you're changed. Right? I know that was my experience. I thought, wait a minute, there's a lot of power in this sitting and doing nothing. Wow. So I thought, well, there's really nothing you have to do to experience these benefits of inner joy, inner wisdom, complete well-being. And we must do nothing to have that happen. Isn't that an odd thing? There's nothing we need to do except do nothing. Ah. So thinking about people learning to meditate and what a gift it is. The power of touching in to our true nature is incredible. Through most of my life before meditating, I did not understand the true nature of the human being. I had no idea that there were worlds within me. You know what I mean? Like the universe can be witnessed within me. Just believing that draws us toward our practice. I mean, I think it takes, this is why it's important to tell people what you experience and the benefits of meditation, because it takes someone having faith that the transformation can happen for them to really give themselves over to a practice of meditation or even trying it. So if you yourself are witnessed as a transformed being, which I think all of us are, people who know us know that something we've done has changed us for the better. Right? And they may or may not know what that is. But tell them. We don't have to be evangelists, really, and run around and say, okay, I'm practicing meditation, it's the best thing I've ever done, you need to do it. But anytime you're in a conversation or an interaction with someone and you see an opening, say something. It might be the best thing you ever did. Just say, I'm so glad that I'm able to witness such and such like this because, I actually meditate. Have you ever meditated? Do you know anything about meditation? Huh? Well, let me tell you. There's an opening. But I know it was the best gift I was ever given, and I didn't have the blessing of someone, in my life, like modeling it for me right off, for me to get interested. I had the blessing of reading Autobiography of a Yogi. But I was already interested. Something in me was searching, seeking, or I wouldn't have picked up the book. I wouldn't have looked at his picture and said, hey, I know that guy. I don't know where I know him from, but I think I should read this book. So there are many people who are seeking peace, are seeking self-knowledge, are seeking deeper connection, and don't know that those things spring from the inner self. For us to acknowledge that this world is really a beautiful place to be in. There are billions of opportunities to be happy. No matter what's going on, no matter what the talking heads tell us, this is an incredible life to be lived. And it just takes a shift in perspective to always know that. Even when we're going through grief, even when we're going through trials, we can be connected to the core of our being that knows that this is an incredible opportunity, this life, to wake up and live in joy and spiritual well-being. So that's what's on my mind right now. The gift of meditation and spreading that gift as best I can, and encouraging you to do so. I'm forming a team for this season of meditation, so I'm going to invite you to be on it. So I'm going to zip it and listen to your wisdom as you are ready. It's sometimes challenging to have our awareness transformed in this way, because one of the things we can see is we can see the world as it is, and sometimes it's not so pretty. Right? Sometimes there's a section either of our lives or of the world that really needs some deep work or some deep healing. But at the same time that we meet these challenges, or we meet these parts of our world that are so dark, confused, and unconscious, we are also cultivating the strength and awareness to deal with them in, in a awake way. We kind of say, we witness the brokenness from a woke place, right? And then we can have compassion. And what I'd like to say about this is that the hardest part, but the most important part, is to be able to do that with ourselves, to see what it is and have compassion. And that has been, my challenge when I see where I need to do some work. An old pattern of, disappointment in self and, other things, and saying, you're someone, you know better than this. Why is this the situation for you? Before I go to saying, oh, what a joy to witness that. Let me work with that. I have all the tools I need to work with that. I'm going to work with that because I don't want to see it like this again. I want to see it in the process of transformation. That's what I want to see. So I just want to say that the path is not always roses because we are working so deeply that we get to work with our stuff and with the world stuff. So I know, Pam, you have a perfect example of that, working with the city, because it's like you opened up the trap where all the waste is going, right? And everyone's standing around backing up from it, and you're like, nope, we got to clean this thing out. You know what I mean? So, it's hard work, but I would say that the people like you, Pen, who stand on the front lines and call out what needs to be healed are really the change makers, as we are in our own lives, because if we don't change us, then nothing changes, right? So this path, this practice, all paths that are awakening practices are so needed right now, which is why, why I do what I do, why you continue to do what you do, is I don't know that I would be able to do this world if I didn't do this, if I didn't meditate, if I didn't, bind myself back to the yamas and the niyamas, because it's a slippery slope out there. And it always has been. I know this is true. It's not like it's something new. It's just, there's a new way of doing it, and it gets right into your house every day through the internet. I swear. In ages before, people didn't know about all this stuff. I mean, they knew about what was happening in their own world, and the same thing is happening in our smaller circles. It's happening in a larger circle, but it's really hitting us in the face. So there we have it. Yay us. Absolutely no, absolutely no, yeah, no evangelism, but, just be yourself and share your gifts. That's all I have to say.